3rd and 5. They'll bring pressure in the face of Rodgers and almost an acrobatic catch by Aaron Jones. But Dane Belton provided the heat that you were talking about, Mark. To the long snapper. Pat O'Donnell, the holder. Mason Crosby, the kick from 46. And it's a 3-0 Packer lead.
Those guys are a problem for offensive lines.
3rd and 4. Swing pass. Barkley out of the backfield. Couldn't catch up to it. And it'll bring up a 4th down. 3 and out. Pitched by this Packer D.
7 little bodies.
3rd and 10. Off the low snap. Dobbs trying to find running room. None there.
Oh, he's politicking for a face mask. They might have got away with it.
3rd and 13. Wants the screen for Barkley, who makes the catch. Probably better off to let that one drop. Jair Alexander all over him. It's a loss of 4. They were thrilled to get him back today.
Only 3.5 games last year, so they're really missing his energy. They said he's a natural energy guy.
Rodgers from the 25. Fumble! And it goes right into the arms of DeGuara and then pops out again. Who's got it? And the Packers do. On 2nd and 6, off the play fake.
Got him.
Over the middle, there he is. Romeo Dobbs to the 35, backs near the 34 before Jackson can wrestle him down. 2nd and 13. Rodgers looking, steps away, down the sideline for Tunyon, and there's the flag. Multiple flags. Xavier McKinney on the coverage, and it's pass interference, Giants.
They got the hand fighting, and Tunyon does a pretty good job working through them.
For the Packers at the 4-yard line. Lazard, touchdown, Green Bay.
He hasn't escaped the pocket. Last week, here we go, he's moving a little here, but he hasn't been outside the pocket all morning.
And it's Darius Slayton with the first big play for this Giants offense as he takes it to midfield, picking up 26. 2nd and 6. Jones off the play fake. Pressure comes, able to get rid of it, and lunging for the first down is Daniel Bellinger to the 35-yard line. First 3rd down of this drive for the Giants, their best drive of the day. And it's Barkley, it slips right through his hands. Packers will pick it up, but that's an incomplete pass. And it's 4th down.
Anytime he's got open space, he's got a chance.
Graham Gano from 48 to try to get the Giants on the board. And the field goal is good. And New York on the board, down 10-3. We're back in 30. Trying to build on that here in this 2nd quarter. And the swing out of the backfield to Aaron Jones. And he's shoved out of bounds by Micah McFadden as we check in on the Packers sideline with Stacey Davis.
But while you do that, Kev, you can't overload them. Because if they're thinking too much, they can't play fast.
On 2nd down, outlet to DeGuara, and DeGuara with a 1st down. Up the sidelines behind the blocking of Alan Lazard, and a pickup of 11 for the 1st. On 2nd down, quick swing. It's Jones with blockers. Jones with a 1st down to the Giant 25. Packers on the move as they pick up 9. Jones came back into the backfield, gets the carry, gets the 1st down. Jones to the 11. Tony Jefferson with the stop, but an 8-yard gain moves the chains. Rodgers again, Cobb on the sideline. Nifty move, and Cobb out near the 1. Fabian Moreau had a shot at him, and Cobb able to weave around him.
They take out Tay Crowder and Jalen Smith. They want to throw the ball when those guys are in.
Fake. Rodgers wide open. Mercedes Lewis, his first catch of the year. 2nd and 7, the direct snap to Barkley, trying to get to the edge. Oh, he sidled through an opening, and Saquon Barkley, great speed. Barkley inside the 40. The big play the Giants have been craving comes from the big playmaker. Officially 40 yards for Saquon, and it's a 1st down. Play action. Jones looking to the sideline. The catch made by Slayton.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Oh, my thing is off. Well, you're gonna have to deal with it today. No, wait. Not fixed.
Fixed.
Fixed. Long weekend.
Yes.
Long weekend. And the long Monday.
Very long Monday.
At least it was long for me. How about you?
Yeah, no, it was good. Lots of exciting football from college to pro all the way through. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed my football this weekend.
As did I.
Not everything worked out as I planned, as I would like. Jayhawks got a loss, but it was a close game, and they were there with it at the end.
Those the last few plays was rough.
Yeah.
Was rough. But they had ample chances to win that game.
Yeah, and our backup Jason Bean had an amazing day.
Oh yeah, Daniels.
Jalen got hurt, and Bean came in and did it.
I hope he's still okay. I haven't read anything about that.
We're at Oklahoma this weekend, so
That's a game we could win.
they definitely could win it. Yeah, they've been steamrolled a couple times now. But yeah, so it was a fun weekend. I think we left by saying that there would be a lot of close games and a few blowouts, and I think that's exactly what we got.
I mean, there was like 2 blowouts,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we both called those.
Yep.
Well, we called one of them. I didn't call it.
Mm-hmm.
We called one of them being a complete blowout, and the other one, shocker to me, honestly. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. What else? What else is new
Well,
this weekend besides some of the stuff we'll have to
we will
get deep into?
we'll get deep into it a little bit. No, we're getting to that point where it's more and more fun to watch
Mm-hmm.
the football games because it's all equaling out. You don't expect this team to be really good when you've seen them the last 4 weeks
Right.
or 5 weeks now, where it's like, man, this team was supposed to be good at the beginning of the season. They crapped themselves, and I'm like, okay, so I don't expect that from them anymore. So I'm having more fun
Mm-hmm.
watching these teams that are, a lower team. And I'm
Right.
like, well, at least your schedule makes a little sense to me now.
Right.
And, you're not going against world beaters. So, yeah, happy days to that one. Like, there's a few, we'll get into them, but there's a few games that I was like, man, these could be some close games.
Mm-hmm.
And they were. And then we had the blowouts.
Yeah, it's the point of the season for me when we get to the middle,
Yeah.
and you can start to see teams know what they're good at, what they're not good at, and you can start to see from a coach fan standpoint, you can start to see some of the strategies starting to happen.
Yeah.
And where I know you can't stop the run, we're going to try to run.
We're going to run.
And you're going to really, really work hard to try to not let us carve you up. And then the coach flips the switch and says, oh, we're going to pass
We're going to
them."
pass now. Yeah.
So, I saw that in several games this week, and it doesn't always work out that way, but you can really start to see what teams are good at, bad at, and
yeah.
kind of have an idea of what the future holds for some of these squads.
Right.
And yeah, and then you also get at this point in the season, lots of injury playing out.
Yeah.
Where teams are like, oh man, they got these guys back, they're looking good, or they're missing 2 and they're terrible.
Well, we're looking at, we had a couple weeks ago, we had a big rush of injuries. And
Mhm.
last week, we had a big rush of injuries. So we missed a lot of people this week and last week. So I think this coming week, we're going to start seeing some of those guys off of IR
coming back
and come back and actually playing. And I'm like, I want the top players back in the game because I'm like,
Well, next man up doesn't always work when you're talking about very, very skilled players.
oh no.
Next man up.
But Jonathan Taylor's supposed to be back.
Yeah,
Or
no,
Jon-
there's a lot of guys and a lot of really important defensive guys, O-line, And you're also, now we start getting into buys.
Oh,
So how does a team play coming out of a bye?
right.
How does a team play going into a bye? Who gets healthy during a bye? That's a huge factor.
Well,
buys are important for these teams.
You don't want a loss right before a bye. You want a hard-fought victory, and
then go heal yourself up and get better.
two of the teams who have buys this week are both coming off of. One of them was a close loss. One was a devastating, you put a goose egg up loss.
Yeah. But the bye weeks, I don't have a list of the bye week teams this week, but there's 5 or 6 teams that don't play this weekend. So, and then we get to see more teams and more games that we can focus on too.
Yeah, we're not gonna try. We can't focus on 16 games.
Well, especially like 10 at noon.
Yeah,
that's like really hard. Even with
so now we'll have 8 at noon.
Right, probably. But so
Might as well
starting off in London, we had the Giants in Green Bay, and we're trying to talk about the teams more so than the game. But Brian Daboll has the Giants. Like every coach out there that's coaching a crap team right now, they should be worried about their job, because if I'm an owner, I'm looking at what Daboll's doing in New York, and I'm saying, damn, I want that guy. Because they don't have a great roster. They don't have amazing players. They have one, Saquon. But they play with heart, and they bring it. And they are fun to watch. It's like a college football team, honestly.
I wasn't on a Giants train, and I won't be by any point of this season. But their chemistry together is amazing. Their defensive line is actually pretty good. And going to London and doing what they did was fun to watch. Yes, it was really early, and I wasn't jumping around. I was just sitting on my couch, but they're the best, or one of the best chemistry teams that are 4-1. When I'm just like, how, after last year and the year before, and you guys really didn't pick up a whole lot,
Coach matters.
did you just turn everything around?
Coach matters if you can get your squad to believe, man.
But I also do remember them going, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, they started out 3-0 and then lost 8 straight or something stupid like that.
Well, we'll see how long this party lasts, but I've been off the Giants train since week 2. When they were 2-0 or whatever, and I'm like, this team is the worst 2-0 team ever.
And they still might be the worst 4-1 team.
They could be,
but
they sure are surprising me. Now they're starting to get me to look on their little, see if there's any space on that bandwagon.
I'm watching it leave. I'm not jumping on it, but no, I think there's something to be said for the Giants, and I don't know what the words I want to use are for them, but I'm happy for them.
Yeah, they're fun to watch too.
It's great. And then on the latter half of that game, clutch moments. Clutch moments is like the definition of Aaron Rodgers. And they once again had a chance to win that game. Multiple times. And
well, Green Bay started off, with an ass whooping like that first half. I thought that was like, oh, here we go.
Green Bay got up like 14-0, and it was.
But I think they just got sleepy and bored, and the Giants kept playing with energy, and
they could never catch
didn't
back
work
up.
out. Green Bay stopped running the ball. That's the way you beat the Giants. They don't have the best run D.
Yeah.
they've got a decent pass defense, as you saw. But, you know, Danny Dimes had a decent day.
Danny Dimes.
Again, not fantasy football style, but just from a winner.
Oh, yeah.
He does what he needs to do. He might get 200 to 225 yards, and he might not even throw any touchdowns, but he manages it. He works hard. He's tough.
He runs his offense.
He does.
It's like he doesn't.
Game manager and a tough kid.
And he will 100% try and sell that like he's faking it, even though he is handing it off.
He does.
He'll turn. He'll act like he's throwing it. He just puts 100% into every single play that he does, and it's amazing because some of the top stars don't do that.
Yeah.
So
no, he's very detailed. He does what he's supposed to do. But, you know, Green Bay's got to figure something out. They still aren't quite there yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're good, and I fully expect them to probably be knocking on the door at the end. But they still aren't quite that team yet.
You're right.
You know, but
that makes it really exciting for their division.
It does. Green Bay's, you know, still sorting out their new guys with Aaron Rodgers. You know, Cobb had about 100 yards, I think, but
yeah, ain't got to work anything out there.
You know, it's just I don't know. Green Bay just hasn't looked very sexy yet. And Green Bay won lost 22-27. Giants won that. You had it being a close game. I thought it was going to be a slaughterhouse because I'm just like, the Giants haven't played anybody. Now they're playing a good team. I thought that Green Bay would smoke them, but not only did not smoke them, they lost.
Yeah. Well, this is like one of the this takes me back to last week when Green Bay played Tampa Bay.
Right.
Or was that 2 weeks ago? Whatever it was, that's the game that I put around this, where they got that early lead, and then they just did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what they did for the London game. Is they got that early lead, really did nothing. They got 2 field goals after that, and then the safety. But
it's 14-0. I don't even know if it was. We were out of the first quarter yet, but it was 14-0, and I'm like, oh geez, this is gonna be ugly.
You shouldn't be. Don't take your foot off the pedal. Like you got to.
Man, I would have just kept running the ball and keep it out of the Giants' hands and run that clock, man.
Right.
They got 2 awesome running backs, but they didn't do it that way. And but you know, Green Bay didn't turn it over.
No.
They just had 3 and outs and got stalled out a lot.
Yeah.
You know. So but I was definitely wrong on that one. That's one of only a few games we missed this week.
No, we were close. Well, I was close.
We only had one person in our group of guys that picked the Giants, and he usually doesn't get anything right. So I think he got lucky on that one.
I think I don't know how many he got.
That was Kevin.
Yeah, I don't know how many he got this week, but he was at like.
I think he just throws darts. He just has fun with it.
Dude, Chris was at 4 correct after all the noon games.
Ouch.
And that's including Thursday.
Oof.
He was not having a good week.
Yeah, that's a rough deal.
Hey, I broke 500. I got 10 right. And then this guy over here wants to brag about it.
I don't, because I wasn't keeping track until this morning. I looked and I'm like, on stream, I got 13, man. 13.
That's
for you guys.
That's damn good.
I did make a couple different picks. I think I might have got.
We need to figure out what those picks were, because
I need to look at that, what I sent to the group, but I think I ended up more like at 10 or 11 with those guys. But yeah. So I,
8:30 games are rough.
They have been rough.
This was an exciting game. I was excited.
A good one.
Yeah, I was excited for this. This was like the first London game that I was like, oh, okay, I'm okay with that.
Well, and you could see all the fans over in London too. There was a lot of Packers over there,
Yeah.
and there was quite a few Giants fans
But
too.
there's a lot of white in the for shirts, not the color. The shirts were all
Right.
white, and I'm just like, are they just wearing white shirts, or are those the Giants?
I know.
Like, I can't tell, but whatever it was loud the whole time.
They got a good game. Yeah, it's kind of funny that you can tell they don't know exactly when to cheer yet.
Well,
Yeah, they're learning it.
in a soccer or football situation,
You cheer the whole game.
you cheer the whole
Right,
game.
right,
You're
right.
just like, you don't have a voice the next day. So, and I was like, if this isn't pumped in sound, they
They get after it.
They're
They like
getting-
it.
And then you hear some of the chants going on in the crowd.
Mhm.
If you didn't hear them, it's funny because they're chanting, and I'm like, I have no clue what they are saying.
We don't do that in football.
And it's like they're chanting like full paragraphs, and then they'll repeat it again, and I'm like, what are you doing? So
That's-
I was excited for me.
That's a
that was
soccer thing, man. I don't know how that works. They all have their chants and their long things they do, and it's almost like they're yelling the national anthem or something.
Well, I love their fans, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was fun to see how fired up they get about it. But yeah, so Green Bay was bad pick and a bad cover. They did not, obviously. And then we go into
Let's go to our big
to
stretch here.
the slaughterhouse, and Pittsburgh at Buffalo. You know,
Oh.
Pittsburgh had a 14-point line for a reason, and it proved out to be the case.
Yeah, we lowballed them.
We definitely did. 38-3.
There's not a lot to say. The Bills were the Bills.
Yeah,
Like, they came in, they handled the Steelers. But I want to talk about Kenny Pickett
he did great.
really quick. No picks. He for being thrown into such a hostile game. I think he came out unscathed.
He did great.
You
He had lots of He had lots of yardage. He picked up first downs. He had good numbers. He just couldn't get in the end zone. But
yeah, I don't think he's a bust.
Oh God, no.
It's like after
He
seeing
did a
that
lot better
game.
than I thought he was gonna do.
Yeah,
You know how easy the next defense is gonna feel to him.
He's gonna
no,
be-
not the next one. I think they play Tampa Bay.
Oh.
But at some point, when he's done with Buffalo and Tampa
when he's
Bay,
done with the future legends,
hopefully he gets to play Detroit at some point.
Yeah.
Because it's like, holy cow, this rookie kid's good, man. Because he's gonna be like, wow, this is like cut cheese.
I think Kenny Pickett has a future. I don't know how bright his future is, but he absolutely has a future as a starter somewhere.
Pittsburgh has yet another good quarterback to build with, and I fully expect Pittsburgh to be back next year or the year after.
Yeah, a couple years, but no, it's great. I think Kenny Pickett did great. Tomlin took it.
Well, he's ready to make a lot of changes. He's not happy, but his team's just not that good. Najee Harris isn't even running the ball. Like, I don't know what they're doing sometimes, but
Well, Najee was injured.
I guess
Not
kind
Saturday, he wasn't, but like
Pickens had another amazing catch. That dude is a star, and he's
the Pickens.
That's
Finally gonna say it.
That's gonna happen so much. You're gonna get sick of saying it. I have a feeling. But yeah, they don't have a defense anymore. They need to figure their defense out.
Right.
And not that Buffalo scoring 38 is telling anyone you have a bad defense, because they do that to everybody.
Hey, the Steelers got an interception though.
Yeah,
Josh Allen wasn't perfect on the day.
He wasn't.
Close enough.
But yeah, you picked Buffalo by 10. I picked them by 13, and we were still way off.
We couldn't do 2 full scores,
I know it.
and they won by 7 full scores.
I thought Pittsburgh might have a little oomph to them after, being favored to lose by 14, but I guess sometimes you just can't control
You
that.
couldn't. There's nothing they could
Play
do.
harder.
Yeah. Go do the thing better.
Run faster. Chargers, Cleveland. That was a wild one.
That was a close game. And Cleveland.
Oh, I got 12.
Oh, did you?
I got 12. I forgot. I wrote no next to that. I highlighted it.
Oh.
And it didn't count.
So.
This one you got right and I didn't.
I don't. Cleveland has Jacoby Brissett. And I was just like, there's no way he's going to stand up to the Chargers defense. Not only do they have the lead at one point in that game, they stayed close the entire time. And going down to 2 points at the end, when they had the ball, I was like, this could go the complete wrong way for me right now. Cleveland is not as bad as I think they are.
Nope.
They have an upside to them, and they keep showing it to me, and I keep brushing it away. So I'm not brushing it away anymore. I'm admitting the Cleveland Browns have an upside, and most likely will be a contender for at least their division, would be my say.
Well, we got to see what happens when Suspension Boy comes back.
We have.
Is he even going to be any good anymore?
It's like we still have 7 more weeks before that comes up. So I'm like,
but their defense is great and their running game's amazing. Nick Chubb is the dude, man. He's such an awesome dude. He's a badass.
Hey, Nick Chubb he had 2 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, he was filthy, but he had like 200 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know how many, but he had a lot.
It was very Nick Chubbish.
I thought Cleveland might be able to spring this upset, and that's why I picked them by 1, because I was like, this is going to be a good one. And it was. I just came out on the wrong side. But you nailed it with the Chargers. You said Chargers by 4.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more than a field goal.
You were close, too.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be more than a field goal, but it just, something's going on with the Chargers. We can talk about that. They
aren't.
We said it last week, and I don't want to keep repeating ourselves, so we'll briefly go over it. Something's wrong.
They're not clicking yet.
Something is just off. I don't know if it's coaching, communication, chemistry. They picked up a bunch of new guys. This
Herbert's ribs.
I don't know if it's injuries could be another thing. Whatever it is, I hope they get it all under control and figured out, because I want to see the Chargers of last year, honestly.
Well, their defense isn't going to be the same, that we thought we were going to get, because Bosa's gone.
Now, but
and he ain't coming back, so I'm pretty sure he's done for the year.
I wish he wasn't.
But their defense is what all the talk was about.
Yeah.
And they haven't put that together. I don't know what Khalil Mack's doing right now, but he showed up in like game 1 and 2, and then he's disappeared.
He's still doing Mac things,
yeah,
but he's just not
being as disruptive.
Yeah. He's kind of fallen into that like middle of the road this year so far, and it's just like you have been one of the top dogs.
He's nasty
for years. Like, there's a reason they paid for you. So,
well, Chargers had to have that win. They got it. But I think the Browns showed everybody that they can play some ball.
Yeah,
they aren't perfectly put together team yet, but they can beat you.
It'll like I said, I think Cleveland has an upside, and I think they'll fight in their division. Don't think they're a playoff team, but
right.
I think they'll be somewhere towards the end of the season.
Bears and Vikings. That went about as well as I expected. Minnesota should be able to destroy the Bears, but they always let everybody hang close. And they
Yeah.
get the wins, but they let every team hang.
It was okay. So the Bears let Fields throw the ball quite a bit,
and he actually did throw the ball.
and he did. I don't know what's happened the first 4 weeks. He did fine. He did absolutely
because we're used
fine.
to him throwing it 3 times. He probably looked good because of that.
Well, it could be, but I nothing that he did was like, why are we should totally stop him from throwing this.
Right.
Whatever he's doing right now is just awful. No, I was like, those look like normal throws.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. He's not making side blindfolded, just weird things happen, but he stuck to the fundamentals. Like, boom, got it. Boom, got it. Boom, got it. No, I mean, if there's something I'm missing that they see, maybe this was the game that they wanted to try it out. And I think they need to release that little muzzle that they're holding on Fields.
No, the Bears' offense looked as good in this game as I've seen them all year. That's not saying much.
Yeah.
But they actually were moving the ball. They're running it. They're passing it. They were good doing screen plays. Like, I thought their offense was looking better than it has because, like, for me, they're one of the worst teams in football. But I was a little surprised. I wasn't surprised at the outcome. Minnesota won 29-22. But I was surprised that Chicago looked fairly decent on offense.
Yeah.
And Minnesota doesn't have some killer defense or anything, but they do have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I was going to say, your boy went off this weekend.
He had a good one.
He's I will say, the sole reason I lost. No, I'm kidding. I was going to talk fantasy
football, yeah.
No, it wasn't your team
He
that
had a
beat
lot
me.
of points.
I beat myself. Injuries are rough.
They are. It's hard to navigate through that when you get a couple guys hurt.
Yeah, I think the next game we're going to talk about is one of the main reasons that I lost.
Yeah, we both picked Minnesota.
Yeah.
I picked them by 7. You picked them by 3. We were good to go on that one. So, don't really have to dwell on that game much. And yes, Detroit and New England.
Harris being hurt on the first series.
It sucks
Or
when you lose a
second
guy
series.
early. It does. The best offense in football put up a goose egg. Belichick still knows how to Belichick.
Well, like I said, this is going to be your typical offense versus defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who's going to actually win? And it shows out. Defense wins games. But guess what? It wasn't the defense that scored all those points.
Right.
It's like, let's give it up for Bailey Zappi.
Zappy looks
Like,
amazing.
He, for a third-string quarterback, he's a rookie.
You know what he looks like? This is going to hurt. He looks like a little young Tom Brady out there.
Oh.
He throws such good passes. He looks so calm and collecting there. Like, I just my initial reaction watching his highlights is I'm like, that looks like a different New England Patriot I remember seeing.
He
Definitely not going to put that comparison on him, but just visually, I was like, man, he looks a little bit like Tom.
Zappy came out this weekend, and I was impressed. I like any guy with a weird name is like totally like, I'm a fan of
It's
you.
fun, yeah.
And
Is there anything better than Zappy?
I'll Zappe.
Or is it French?
Oh, oui.
Oh.
Whatever it is, like however you
Zappa.
pronounce it, however he wants it to be pronounced. I am a fan, and he came out with his first actual start, won his first game. Boom.
There's Jacoby Myers getting a touchdown right there.
No. It wasn't really anything exciting to talk about the game.
No, it
I
wasn't.
think you've just shown the Detroit Lions are still the Detroit Lions.
And they're missing two.
And
They were missing
missing
St. Brown and Swift, and that's not surprising that they didn't put up huge points. I wouldn't have guessed a 0, but
yeah, but then they had big plays like they just did on there.
Uh-huh.
It's like
they just couldn't punch it in.
They couldn't get to that.
Because you don't need to
last
score
point.
very much to beat New England usually,
But when they put up 29 points,
Well, I know, but Detroit's usually in the 40s.
they're putting up 30. Yeah, I think their average was 35 by last week. But
I understood why everyone was wanted to pick Detroit in that one because they looked so fun in the previous game, but I just had in my head going to New England, Bill is not going to let them do whatever they want to do. And I was unsure if St. Brown was going to play. That's my guy.
Yeah, well, he was supposed to and then didn't.
He did, but he played like 5 plays or 7 plays. He was just kind of a decoy.
Yeah, he didn't.
He's still hurt. He was just part of the. He played in the game, but he was basically just playing hurt.
Of course.
But yeah, so that's one where I got you. I picked New England by 4, and you had Detroit by 4. I didn't know it was going to be New England by 29, but thought they might have a chance to win that one.
That's our goose egg of the week.
The goose egg of the week. Let's see. So, I had another one. 2 wonderful teams. Seattle at New Orleans.
Oh, that's what I remember. I wanted to look something up, and I totally forgot to this morning.
So New Orleans won this 39-32. The only reason I picked New Orleans is because their defense is better than Seattle's, and it was at home. So I was like, they can win this by 3 points, surely, and I got it right. So I didn't have a deep care or thought on picking this game. And you were high on the Geno wagon, so I think that's why you picked Seattle.
This is what I want. With these stats, you tell me I shouldn't be on the Geno wagon. 16 for 25. That's a little low. It's a little low. He didn't throw a whole lot.
Well, yeah.
But Walker went off on running, so.
Yeah.
But
the rookie.
268 yards with 3 touchdowns.
No, that's good.
And you can't tell me that you look at those stats and be like, oh, and there were rushing touchdowns. But, they lost. Blows my mind.
New Orleans,
You want to know why New Orleans won? And I want to talk about this guy real quick because he should be their starting quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, O-line, D-line, safety, linebacker, cornerback.
And I bet no one had him starting in any fantasy league.
Taysom Hill. Dude, I don't know why they're trying to start Andy Dalton over him or Jameis Winston.
Yeah, Taysom Hill can do Andy Dalton stuff times 10.
He
can catch, he can run, he can throw. He's nasty. And he did good for him when he filled in at quarterback last year.
Yes.
And it's like,
year before.
Why don't you let that guy have that job and stop messing around?
Well, I don't think they're 100% sold on something. But
well, I'm sure you don't want Taysom Hill throwing 30 passes a game. I get that.
Yeah.
He's probably not a true quarterback, but they run a lot of wildcat with him, and he can catch.
And he gets 50-yard runs for touchdowns.
He runs mean.
That was 3 touchdowns in like 120 yards or something like that.
Yep.
Dude is a beast, and I want if somebody has him in our fantasy league, but I would pick him up. Like,
I think he's available.
no, he's not.
He's not.
I looked this morning.
Well, the problem is that one day he'll do that, and the next day he won't do nothing. So it's hard.
He always has a good day, though.
If you look at his fantasy stats,
I don't know
he's had some
I don't know what he's under,
low
though.
ones.
Like, do I have to start him as a quarterback? Can I start him as a...
I don't
defensive
know.
lineman?
I think he might be a tight end. I think they might have him listed at tight end. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Well, I didn't see him this
I
morning.
don't think he's listed as a quarterback anymore. but if he plays a certain amount of possessions at certain positions, he'll be listed at all of them. So yeah, New Orleans pulled that out, and I already said I picked New Orleans by 3. You had Seattle by 3.
Yeah.
It was close.
It was,
It was a close game. It ended up being 7.
it was a one-score game.
Yep. Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets.
Dude, Miami has so many problems right now.
You ain't kidding.
Teddy Bridgewater's now in concussion protocol.
No Tua.
No, Tua is still not
Still
guaranteed
not
to be
passing.
back.
Yeah. Still not passing his protocol.
They're starting a third-string quarterback who, to be fair, held his own.
He's pretty decent.
Um,
He's a K-Stater.
But they're just without everything is schemed around Tua.
Yeah.
Pretty much Tua and Hill. And Hill tried everything he could.
They couldn't get him loose.
And it was just unfortunate.
Jets played pretty good D though in that game.
They did. And I give it to them and their offense
The damn
looked
Jets. I love my 6-win prediction. Still might not get there, but I like it.
Hey, you started off with 8.
I did. I dropped it to 6. Yeah. You don't have to tell everybody what
No,
I started with.
I want to
I have
let
my-
everybody know about that.
You know what? At mid-season, I'll get my rankings out where I
You'll
try
get your
to predict
prediction.
the divisions and see how funny some of those are.
That'll be great.
Yeah, you should have done that too.
I didn't even think about it. Well, I thought about it.
I was bored one day and did it. It took me like 30 minutes. I'd just go through. I didn't even look at each team's schedule, so it's not a legit hard look. I just looked at the divisions and made sure the numbers equaled up on records.
As
and
long
I
as
just
everything
guessed.
equals 17, you're
Right.
good.
That's all I did. I did not go through every team's schedule and pick it. That's what you should do if you want to do it for real. But
Yeah.
I didn't even know if the Jets had 6 wins on their schedule or not.
I mean, it's looking like it now.
It might. They might.
You got this old Jets train thing going that
Yeah,
you really
I like 'em.
like, and every week you still don't pick them.
I know it.
It's like you gotta at some point you just gotta full commit, buddy. You just gotta get in there.
It's just like, your
If anybody,
child, like, oh, he's not that good. He's not ready for that yet. And then he goes and does something awesome, and it's like, the next week you're like, I still don't think he's ready for that yet.
Still
And then
don't
he
think-
blows up again, and it's like, at some point, I gotta just go.
at some point, you just have to admit you were right.
I gotta buy in. I gotta buy in.
No.
I'm cheering for him every time I pick against the Jets, and then I watch the Jets, and I'm cheering for the Jets.
Right.
I'm like, I may as well just pick them.
I think the Jets are better than the Patriots, and that's the same division. That's the only reason why I said Patriots. I don't think the Jets are better than Miami, even though they beat them. But that's a hurt Miami, not a full powered Miami.
Here's my problem.
And they aren't even close to the Bills.
Yeah. I would have picked the Jets if I knew Teddy was going out in the first quarter.
I would have picked the Jets
You
if
know
I
what I
knew
mean?
Teddy was
So-
going out.
So that's like
Yeah, that
really affects a pick, when
hindsight's
you're picking.
20/20, but at that point it's like, so you just want to make picks at halftime?
Because
from now
you know
on?
me, I love my home underdog.
Yeah.
And they were favored by 3, and you can see the home underdogs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 of the 5 hit.
Yeah.
Like, they just happen. They happen. A home team that's favored to lose ends up playing way better than you think they will.
Yeah. I like I said, Jets also have an upside to them. Your 6 wins don't look as crazy as I thought they did at the beginning of the season.
Again, I don't want to know what the rest of their schedule looks like.
No, man, they have
a pretty tough division side to work with. So
they have 5 more games of crap. We have to play them.
Yep.
But I think they won't end the bottom of the barrel.
No, not at this point.
No, they're not Houston.
Are they 2-3 right now? 3-2.
I wanted to say 3-2.
I don't remember. I know they've had a couple close games, but I can't remember if they won them or lost them. I know they've won 2, but I don't remember. They might be 3-2. You might be right.
I want to say they were 3-2, and Jets. They're 3-2.
3-2.
Yep. So we're halfway to your prediction.
Halfway to 6. Then if they end up winning 8, then I'm really gonna say, see, I told you.
Yeah, right.
That was the only thing I remember.
Then,
you made a big deal about when I wrote those down and I told them to you. You were like, "Well, I can hear all that other stuff, but the Jets, no way."
No way.
And then I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I probably put them a little bit high."
I wasn't counting on Zach Wilson, honestly. Like, he did great.
Well, and he's been back for 2 games, and they've got 2 wins.
Yeah.
And he's looking real good.
And, when he got hurt, I was like, we've joked about it. Your prediction looks real stupid now.
It did.
Because having a...
Well, Flacco got 1 win.
He got the first week, and that's why we were like...
450-yard passing.
Yeah, it was like, maybe. Yeah, so the Jets will become the Jets at some point this year.
Right.
It's like I'm not expecting them to hold on to a winning record.
No. But putting up 40 on Miami, that doesn't have nothing to do with Tua.
It doesn't. But if Tua was there, they put up 50.
Yeah, could have been. Yep.
Hey, Robin Hood.
Football.
So,
yeah, we both had Miami winning that game. I had Miami by 4. You had Miami by 9. So,
yeah.
You were just a little bit more confident in Miami than I was.
Yeah.
And we both wrong.
We were both wrong.
So that's a 23-point win. No Teddy, though.
No Teddy, no Tua. Who's the third? Who played?
Skylar Thompson.
That's his name, Skylar Thompson.
K-State Wildcats.
Yeah. Always gotta ruin my day as a Wildcat.
He's good. He is good. He looks good. I like him. I'm not rooting for a Wildcat, but I like him.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Tampa Bay. What you got to say about these 2 teams?
Surprising. Very surprising. Tampa Bay looks rusty. And, Brady has a lot of things going on in his life right now that, I don't know anything about, so I can't really comment on it. But if I think it's time. I think it's time for Tom to just hang it up, be done. I know we're not even halfway through the season yet, but he's looking bad. Weird options. He got sacked, probably the most I've ever seen him be sacked in a game ever. His O-line is I'm thinking breaking down at this point, or Tom's not getting the ball gone fast enough. Leonard Fournette looked amazing.
Lenny's a
he's
a monster.
I loved him, but the Atlanta Falcons held with them.
For me, this is a Tampa Bay problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Atlanta's not good.
No.
They don't have a good offense. Their defense isn't great.
Right.
They didn't even have Cordero Patterson. They should not have even been close in this game. So, to me, this is a Tampa Bay issue, not and Atlanta was better than I thought thing. I just don't.
Well, yeah,
I mean, Atlanta's-
Tampa Bay looked bad last week.
Because Atlanta still only
And they
scored
looked-
15 points,
They
right?
did.
So Tampa's D still did its thing.
Yeah,
But Tampa's offense is something. It's just,
it's in a farce.
and that
right
was
now.
another home game for them. So, they've lost to the Chiefs, and almost lost to Atlanta at home.
Yeah, there's something. I don't know if it's a coaching thing, or if because Tom and Bruce Arian never really got along,
Evidently,
but Bruce Arian ran that team.
he's just really
Does
old
this
school.
does this new head coach give Tom Brady too much freedom?
I don't know.
And does he? Are these breaks in the middle of the week and
I'm not sure.
and missing training camp just still holding him down? I don't think it's a training camp anymore.
I think he's just not focused
He's
100% on football.
he's got too much going on.
Yeah. In hindsight, I bet you he would tell you he should have not come back, but he's never going to say that out loud. So
Oh, I mean, at the end of the season, he might.
maybe. We both picked Tampa Bay by a ton. I picked them by 10. You picked them by 13. They got the win. They won it.
They won it,
So-
but they won it by
6.
6. It
So-
wasn't a.
So it wasn't pretty, but they got it done. I guess
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we picked them to win and they won.
Yeah.
So
I lost a bet on that though. If I did, If I would've-
yes, you did, because Tampa's favored by 8.5.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then in that game also, something we'll get into more at the end.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady got slung down by a receiver going in the opposite direction, grabbing around the waist as his body carried him away from the quarterback
Yep.
and flung him around and got a roughing the passer. Big conversation from
Big conversation this
Sunday's
weekend.
game. So, well, this is just from Sunday's game.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
It has
Sunday.
it has become a big thing.
And as you
of the
know,
last
we have another
12
one
hours.
to tack on to in that. But I wanted to mention that real quick because I'll probably go back to that.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Washington. What do you got? What'd you see in that game? Anything?
The big thing is like
Tennessee won 21-17.
yeah, big thing Derrick Henry, still Derrick Henry.
He's the king.
He put up some decent numbers, but it's Washington that I'm more concerned about.
Yeah.
I think for as good as he was at the beginning of the year and killing it, and he still has like comparable numbers, I don't think Carson Wentz should.
He's not the answer.
I don't think he should
No.
still be the quarterback.
I think he's.
I also don't think that Taylor Heineke is the answer either.
No, those are good backup guys. Those are guys you
Yeah.
definitely want on your team, but that you don't want them out there every week starting for you.
Washington needs to find a running game.
Yeah,
They really do.
they don't
And,
even try.
No, I mean, Carson Wentz had 360 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
all they do.
That's their entire offense. Now they it's working. Like they still are getting comparable numbers.
Tennessee's also got a bad pass defense.
Yeah. But like their top rusher had 22 yards.
Yeah,
9 carries for 22
that's
yards.
about all they try. I think
Yeah.
they'll
So
try it a few times and that's it.
overall, I think Washington needs to get a not only do they need to fix defense,
Mm-hmm.
but they need Chase Young to come back,
Oh, definitely.
and I think they need a quarterback or a running game
Mm-hmm.
because
You're
you know,
missing a lot of pieces. You just
You're-
mentioned 3 major things.
it's well that's your offense right there. Well, offense and defense. You have a decent wide receiving core. I think you're fine there. I mean, especially to get 350 yards. But you got your problems with, Gibson is not your answer for your running game. No offense to Gibson. He's just, sorry, but you're a backup. You're at best. And then Carson Wentz has thrown interceptions after bad pass. But he can sling it. He's got that arm that he's just like...
He can throw it.
In a time of need, bring him in. We're going 80 yards. But, yeah. Tennessee, though, you don't have a passing game.
See, I was going to say the other side of this for me, we kind of knew what Washington was.
Yeah.
But Tennessee is not
a
playoff team.
They're not sexy this year.
And if they do make the playoffs, I'm not nervous about them. Mm-mm. Like in the past, it was like, oh, crap.
Right.
They severely miss A.J. Brown.
Right.
And, King Henry's still King Henry, but you can tee off on the run game all day long if you know that's what they're going to do. You can always stop just the run game if that's all you have to stop.
Well, but
Tennessee just doesn't do anything for me. Their defense isn't great. They're not passing the ball real well. It's King Henry or bust, and sure, he's great.
The teams, this is a stat, the teams that have held Henry under 100 yards have beaten them.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Well, I think the Chiefs did that last time they played.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs didn't even necessarily have a good run defense, but they just keyed on it.
Yeah.
That's all they did. And you ask a professional D-line to just key on the run game, they'll do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got a little bit more out of Tennessee in this because I picked Tennessee by 4, you picked them by 6, so we got it right. But I really just keep watching them going, man, they should be able to destroy Washington.
Oh, absolutely.
But they can't.
Absolutely. It's sad, man. Like,
there was a little piece of me that wanted to pick Washington in this game because that home underdog thing, but I just couldn't do it because of the names on those jerseys.
Still Washington. It's still the Commandos.
Right. So, Houston and Jacksonville.
Turd fest.
Gross.
The worst game of the weekend. Honestly, in my opinion, this was the worst game.
Jacksonville finally gets us on their bandwagon, and Trevor Lawrence literally poops down his pants down the side of his leg.
He looked awful. Absolute awful. His passing was awful. His reads were awful. His interceptions looked great for the other team.
They don't run the ball much either.
But Houston didn't do anything with it.
Nope.
That game should have been a tie. Honestly, that was just a crap
Houston
game.
won 13-6. If you didn't know or are wondering, 13-6. I mean, I've seen baseball games with better scores than that.
I've seen baseball games that end like that too.
I fully thought Jacksonville was riding that high, and they were going to come home and in a perfect spot to just pound a lesser team and be like, we are here. We are ready to play with the big boys.
I can't.
And now I'm like, I don't know what to think. Because last week, Jacksonville looked great. Against, what was it, the Eagles?
Who did they play last
Jacksonville,
week?
I think they barely lost to the Eagles.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
But this week, it's like, you score 6 on Houston, Houston doesn't have a good defense. They don't do anything.
And they beat the Chargers. That was when
That's right.
Herbert was hurt. But
Dameon Pierce, the rookie running back for Houston, is a man crusher. He is a stud. But that is all Houston has. That is it.
Yeah.
And Jacksonville put up 6 points. I'm blown away by this one. If I was betting a lot of money this week, I would have put most of my money on that game for Jacksonville.
Well, yeah, I would have been right there with you. Trevor Lawrence, 25 completed passes out of 47.
Wow.
That is 22 missed, 25 complete.
Man.
That is so close to 50-50 for
Turnovers?
an elite.
He's no picks.
2
Two
interceptions.
picks.
286 yards, though.
Well, when you throw that many, you're going to get some yards. But
Etney, or
Etienne?
Etienne, I can never pronounce his
they
right.
don't run the ball much.
71 yards on 10 carries.
And that's the best he's had all year.
Jones for receiving 104 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Still 0 touchdowns between them. They're
I drafted Etienne thinking I'm getting a good deal, and I've already dropped him because it's like they're not even going to use him. Like, what's the point? And that's his best numbers of the year: 71 yards, no touchdowns. I'm like, I don't need. That's not fantasy football worthy.
I'm not that deep league.
No doubt.
It's like they're not going to use him. He's not as good as we thought or whatever. Maybe combo both. I picked Jacksonville by 13. You picked them by 7. I thought this was going to be a slaughterhouse, and it was a turd fest.
Gross.
13-6.
Absolute turd of the week.
Yeah, that was very disappointing to watch that happen in front of us, that's for sure. 49ers and Carolina Panthers. The beatdown continues.
Baker's hurt.
He's hurt.
No word on how long he'll
Nope.
be out. Panthers coach is fired.
Matt Rule is gone.
We've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, and it finally happened.
Yep.
He gone. Defensive coordinator gone. So
They are in full rebuild mode.
yeah, and
But at this point, they should have done this. The year that Cam Newton left, they should have done this.
Bills are reaching out about Christian McCaffrey. I think the Chiefs have
Contacted him about a DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson. Like, they're going to start
I can see fire sales starting to happen here
soon.
They're gonna
because they're gonna have a want to have lots of picks
have
for a new coach.
they're gonna have a whole first round pick by who they have.
Right.
Like
They have good players.
Christian McCaffrey can literally get you 3 first round picks, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe not all in the same year.
And
but
he's going to be cheap because they paid him up front.
yeah,
So he's cheap. So even a salary cap team can go get McCaffrey.
Robbie Anderson is one of the most underrated wide receivers out there. DJ Moore,
Same thing for me.
like
I love him.
they're such good wide receivers.
They've also got some really good defenders on that team. That teams are talking about already.
There's so much that they have to offer that take your picks, like trade them off,
Carolina garage sale.
get 45 picks in the next 3 years, whatever you can get for them, and then build a whole new team because you're gonna have to find a new coach. You're gonna need to find offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, a new owner. At this point is probably the best thing for you.
He is the new owner.
Is he?
Yeah. This is like his second year, I want to say.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
That's why
that.
he hired Matt Rule.
It was a big one because Matt Rule was the really good Baylor football coach, and he's like a stud, like coach. But
God.
just NFL doesn't always translate for college coaches. So Matt Rule is now at the top of the list, probably getting phone calls for Nebraska, Wisconsin, like all these colleges are like, oh, we got to get that guy.
Well,
That's good because take the heat to take Lance Leipold's name out your mouth. We want him.
So on the other side, San Francisco looked amazing.
They're looking really good now all of a sudden.
And this is and what changed? What out of everything on that team changed? Could it be that the quarterback that they didn't want?
I don't know why so many people think Jimmy G's terrible. It's funny. All that homeboy does is win. He just wins.
No matter what.
He does for the most part. He won in New England. He he didn't play much in New England, but when he did, he looked great. They won, and he's all he's done is won games in San Francisco. And I get it. He doesn't put up amazing numbers and do amazing things on the field, but he wins, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
No. We lived in what I like to call Debo country.
That's Debo country.
And Debo had a great day. I mean, a Debo day.
Yeah, I mean, he got his.
But, George Kittle looks pretty good. He not amazing, but
San Francisco scored 37.
Yeah, and their defense.
Some of those had to be defensive. Carolina only scored 15, which is a lot of points for San Francisco to give up, which is crazy.
None of those were defensive touchdowns.
Okay, I think.
No, sorry, one. One was an interception.
I thought I remembered that.
Mosley, I totally forgot about Mosley.
I remember that.
That was at the end of the half.
Right. But yeah, San Francisco is not going to be a fun team to play for anybody.
No.
Because their D is just scorching tough.
They improved to 3-2. Honestly, that first game, Jimmy Garoppolo right now is 3-0.
No doubt.
Trey Lance, sorry.
I would love to see San Francisco play Seattle again right now.
Yeah.
It would not be what it was.
Well, they'll get a chance to play again.
Sure. I mean, that was just Trey Lance's first game, and it wasn't pretty.
Second game.
Second game. Was that a second game?
Yeah, because Seattle played Denver.
That's right. That was the other turd.
That was the other turd. Every game that
Yeah.
Denver's in is a turd.
So I picked San Francisco by 9. You said San Francisco by 6. It's about exactly.
It was San Francisco by 22.
It turned into a little bit more of a beatdown, but we didn't know Carolina was going to completely give up. Dallas and the L.A. Rams.
I am off the L.A. Rams. 100% off. I just for them to lose as bad as they did last week. Yes, it was against San Francisco, and we just went over.
Right.
They're an amazing team, but them to lose last week and not try and fire back at any point is just like, what are you doing? The game was 22-10, and the Cowboys won.
Yep.
I don't know what Matt Stafford's doing. I know he only wants to throw to Cooper Kupp. And if I had Cooper Kupp on my team, you're right. That's who I would want to.
But unfortunately, in the NFL, you can't win doing that.
No. So.
And Cooper Kupp wouldn't be alive.
Their defense looks mediocre.
Average at best.
Yeah.
Definitely not shut down like they were last year.
I don't know. Sean McVay, for the first time, this is his first losing season he's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And, God, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. They don't have a running game whatsoever. Their defense isn't playing as good, and it's Stafford and Kupp. There's just too many holes in there. There's too many things that aren't right.
Right.
And for me, this was my dubby of the week because I did pick Dallas on the road because I think I don't like Dallas Cowboys, let me be honest, but their defense is good, and Micah Parsons is probably one of my favorite players in the NFL right now. I absolutely love that guy. He's just incredible. He's just so good right now. And Dallas' defense is legit, man. And they got just enough offensive weapons to make that work. Cooper Rush wins again, but he didn't really have a good week.
No, he didn't.
But Dallas's D and just enough offensive weapons. I don't think they're going to beat just anybody. But these middle of the road teams that aren't looking sharp right now are just Dallas is picking them off.
Dude, to start the game, Dallas got the interception for the pick six. It was like, is this how this game is going to go? And it just continued.
Yep.
And Cooper Rush, no, he didn't have great numbers. He barely broke 100 yards in passing.
Yeah.
So
Dallas ran the ball a lot, too.
Tony Pollard.
Yep.
There's your guy.
Pollard and Gallup.
Stop giving the ball to Ezekiel Elliott.
Save him for just goal line. Like, wait, when you're on the one, just let him stuff it up the middle. Let him be your big guy.
He needs to be the backup, honestly. And
he doesn't have that burst of speed anymore.
Tony Pollard is just so much better.
He is.
At this point.
Obviously better.
Oh, obviously.
But Dallas held the Rams to 10 points. It was 22-10. I think Parsons had a couple more sacks. Like, I don't know. He did something good again. He's just all over the field.
Well, that's because he can be.
He's such a fast, smaller linebacker. He's just nasty.
Yeah.
Those big old linemen don't even know where he goes. Like,
so Mike McCarthy looks like a genius now.
Yeah.
Just
but that's
rub that one in
I don't
for
like
you.
him, but
rub that in for you a little bit.
He does look like a genius. I know he's not.
Hey, he has a Super Bowl ring.
He does. No, I have no doubt that guy knows his football. I just don't like his face. I picked Dallas by 4. You picked the Rams by 7. I got you on that one. That was the one going into last week where I'm like, I'm confident that Dallas is going to win this game. No, I didn't even flinch on that one.
I wasn't confident. I wasn't confident the Rams were going to win, but I figured it'd be a full score at least.
Yeah. I mean, it was even a home game for the Rams. Of course, that's like playing in London.
Yeah.
You know, their fans don't even know what they're doing half the time, but they should have just kept the Rams in St. Louis. I always say that.
Actually, probably should have.
Philadelphia and Arizona.
Yeah. I'll let you go first.
This was a good one. I really was close to picking Arizona in an upset on this, and I didn't quite do it, but Philadelphia has a good pass defense, and I knew Arizona would have trouble scoring, so that was kind of why I was like hesitant to do it. But you know, Philly didn't look great. They won this game 20-17, so not a lot of points going on the board, and you know, it was kind of an ugly game. It was exciting because it was close, but you know, Kyler Murray just, it's not there. Arizona doesn't have quite enough firepower to get these kind of games won, and Philly is ready to be tested. Like, I know they're gonna stub their toe here soon, and I thought this was almost an opportunity, and it was almost an opportunity.
Well, I said last week when we were talking about this pick, Arizona is looking better.
They are.
Not that they're gonna be world beaters.
Sure.
But you know,
but they're not horrid looking like they were to start. Yeah.
So like they just have this problem with getting behind early and then having to scrape their way back out of it. And in the fourth quarter, they got to that tie of 17-17, but just their defense just let Philadelphia walk down the field.
Correct.
Kicked that field goal with like 1:45 left, and then toddler Kyler can't steal the phone fast enough.
Nope. You know, that was a home underdog yet again, and it did hit if you were gambling.
Yeah.
Because it was a 3-point game and Philly was favored by 5.5. So those are games that I almost like to pick the full upset.
Yeah.
Just because you get more money in that, and if a team's going to be that close, then they have and they did have a chance to win it.
They did.
Arizona had a chance to win that game.
Absolutely.
But I again, I don't look ahead. I don't know what Philly has as far as games coming up, but they're about to take one on the chin. I know they're undefeated, but and they have been very impressive in some games, but then a game like this, they don't look impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm still a little skeptical on how good Philly really is. I know they have good players and they have good talent, but I'm not sure if they're ready to just beat everybody.
No,
you know what I mean?
Philadelphia still has.
They've taken a step to the second tier of good teams,
yeah,
but not the top tier of good teams. At least for me.
I think there's, at this point, I think there's something to be said. 5-0. You got to give them their credit. You got to give them their dues.
I mean, hell, there's a couple of those games that they slaughtered somebody. They looked amazing.
Yeah, and then there are some close games that
those are going to happen. Though
it's going to happen.
Bills, Chiefs, Tampa, whatever teams you think are great, they even have close games.
I don't know who the Eagles will play later on this season, but if they play anybody notable, doesn't look like it. Oh my God.
They have an easy schedule.
I honestly don't.
Oh, next week. Dallas.
No. No. I don't see them. They could go undefeated with this schedule.
They play crap. I know. That's terrible.
It's like.
They won't, though. They're gonna trip up.
I don't know where. I don't. They have too much. They have too many weapons.
They just have an easy schedule, don't they?
They're like Steelers, Texans, Commanders, Colts.
Oh my God.
Oh, they play the Packers. Yeah, right.
Maybe that could be
Titans, the Giants again, the Bears, the Saints. Yeah, look, we have.
It's just all middle of the road or lower teams.
They're gonna go undefeated, go to the Super Bowl, and then just get stomped by the Bills.
Probably.
Just gonna say it now.
That's fun. I like that. Yeah, so anyways, let's go to the other rivalry game that ended up being rather amazing. Cincinnati and Baltimore.
Oh.
Baltimore wins 19-17.
That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I don't know if there's like anything both of these teams are good teams.
Yeah, Joe Burrow had a good day. Actually, Lamar did not have great of a day.
Lamar had less of a day.
Yeah, I mean, not his usual Lamar. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but he
let's see what else. It was just. I feel like this was just a couple defenses that were causing problems and two offenses that were just kind of churning through the water because it was low scoring. There wasn't a lot of offense for either team.
No,
run the ball, short passes.
Justin Tucker kicking his game-winning field goal like he always does
to win by 2 points.
This is a seasonal thing for him.
And this is like the game last night. That's next we'll get to. But Cincinnati, Baltimore, they don't love each other. Like that's a pretty heated rival.
Yeah.
And that was in Baltimore, and no surprise that there's a weird score and it's a close game. That's just how those games work. Rivalry games are usually low scoring for the most part, and very close at the end, no matter what anybody else thinks.
I think I don't think this is a step down for Joe Burrow. You know, I don't think so. He's had some rough weeks this year, but I don't think
at least they lost to a good team.
Yeah, this isn't a step down for him, but this is also not a step up for Baltimore.
No.
It's like when they went in at half, tied 10-10.
Yeah.
I literally said, well, Cincinnati wins this. Just because that they blow every single lead
Baltimore's
at half.
Yeah.
And I think it helped that it's at home. It's a rivalry game.
And that you have Justin Tucker.
But they kicking 3 field goals in the second half to win it.
That game could have gone either way. I picked Baltimore by 6. You picked them by 4. We knew it was going to be a close one.
Yeah, Baltimore by 2.
And it was about right. You know, that's about what we expected. And then we get into the fun one of last night. The Raiders at the Chiefs on Monday Night Football.
So I didn't catch the beginning of the game because I was in the midst of taking care of children and So when I finally turned it on and saw that the Raiders were up 7-0 and driving to score another, I was like, what the fuck is happening? What did I miss?
The Raiders in the first half played a perfect football game. Perfect. They were running great plays. They were running the ball. They do play action. They got Adams open deep for that first score. They just look good and who's your running back? Who's the Raiders?
Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs was running like a man out there.
Dude, okay,
he was taking people out.
This is the Raiders that I expect to see the whole season.
No doubt.
This is just a full game of upsides for them.
Yeah.
Showing, Darren Waller got hurt. God damn it. He's always hurt. Why are you always hurt? Out of everybody that
and it's always a pulled muscle or something, it seems like.
It just is a hamstring last night. But, like, in my head, I'm just like, if Waller was there, we win this game.
You might have won that game.
We win this game. It's,
Yeah, Waller's a nasty individual.
But,
can't stay on the field.
He can't stay on the field. Hollins didn't really do much.
No,
last night.
Hollins didn't. He's the one that I thought would because he was single covered.
Yeah.
They were bracketing guys a lot.
They started single covering Adams, and
they had to.
It was like, you can't single cover him.
Yeah, they were switching it up.
I know.
Once in a while they'd be in zone. Once in a while they'd double. Once in a while they'd go single. But Hollins had single almost the whole night. But he wasn't getting open, or Carr wasn't looking for him. One of the two. I don't think Carr wants to throw to Hollins unless he has to.
Well,
he's got his boy.
I just know that it was shocking to actually see them playing good,
and the defense was playing good as well. In the first half, definitely.
Yeah, and then the second half happened.
Yeah,
and the teams flipped.
It flip-flopped.
100% flip, where Kansas City was like, "Okay, you've had your fun, let's go."
Part of it, I think, was the call that we can talk about, but once that call happened, that place got crazy.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if I've ever heard it that loud on TV. The boos, the yelling, it was just loud. And I think the referees peed themselves a little bit, and the Raiders looked like they changed. Like, how they were playing, I don't know what it was. I don't know if they were like, holy shit, or what. But
yeah,
they were not the same at all. Chiefs turned it on. I think it pissed the Chiefs off, the players first off.
Yeah,
which never helps. But that's not the Raiders' fault.
No.
But the Chiefs came out looking pissed in the second half, and
Right.
then all of a sudden it was like, okay, screw this, we're going to work harder. You know, that's what it looked like to me, anyway.
Yeah, the Chiefs
They
in the
played
second half
differently.
were way better than the first half, and they won. Like, there's no question. There were questions throughout the game of why did this happen?
Sure.
Why was this called?
Yeah.
If we had talked about us being in that position where Raiders just scored, do you go for 2 to be up by 1, or do you kick the field goal? They went for 2. I don't know if that's the right call. I don't know if it's the wrong call. All I know is it didn't work out.
I don't think it's right or wrong. You can't ever say that.
If
you can say what you would have done.
Well, yeah.
Or you can say what you believe in, but you can't hindsight it and
No.
be like, well, it obviously didn't work, so it was wrong.
No.
Well, no kidding.
But if we would have kicked a field goal, Mahomes would have started throwing again.
Sure.
Like, they ran it those few times just to try and get clock down.
Sure.
They weren't trying to go score again.
Well,
and anyone who says that last series by the Chiefs was, they couldn't even move the ball, they would have won anyways.
No, there was one. There was an.
They were running clock.
There was an errant pass in there. They were running clock. Yeah, I agree.
Well, they needed a first down, and they had.
Right.
Where do you go if you need a first down?
Right. Kelsey had 4 touchdowns already.
How many did Kelsey end up with?
I don't know. He had 4 touchdowns. That's all he ended up with.
You mean Mahomes?
Oh, I don't know. No, Kelsey had 4 touchdowns.
Oh, the Mahomes threw every touchdown to him.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if the Raiders were guarding Kelsey. Like
they weren't.
They're like at the 10-yard line. I'm like, everyone in the United States
Everyone
knows who's
exactly
getting that pass.
where this is going.
And Kelsey goes in right down the middle, goes left, wide open, and it's like, what in the hell?
Every time.
Somebody guarded him.
Every time.
That
That's
cracks
just.
me up.
I don't know why that's impossible to deal with.
I don't either.
It's like, he's going that way. He always goes that way. It's like, even on.
Like, I get it if it's like a tight, close, contested play and he comes out with it, but he's just catching him with no
wide
one
open.
on him.
Yeah. Or he'll stand right on the edge of the end zone and then just duck in.
Yeah.
It's like, get on him.
I know. Stay in front
Whatever
of him.
it takes.
Make him at least go to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, someone else will catch the ball, but you gotta do something.
At least make it less comfortable.
I think both teams had a good showing.
Yeah, it was fun. That game had so much great, fun conversation pieces in it.
Yeah.
It was loaded with comebacks, questionable calls, questionable coaching, questionable playing, throws, whatever. It was just full of all kinds of conversation pieces.
Right.
And
then we fall into the conversation piece.
Chiefs missed their new kicker missed a couple field goals, right? And then he kicks the longest field goal of any kicker in Chiefs history. Did you know he broke the record?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What was it, 58, 59?
I don't know. I don't remember. But it was the longest field goal for any Chief. And then he'll probably end up getting cut today. Because he missed 2 field goals, man. You can't miss 2 field goals at home against the Raiders.
No, you can't.
And hopefully Butker is back. Come on, please. You're killing me, bro.
Well, we'll see.
And there was a thing, too. Butker on the sideline last night. Did you see him?
No.
He's got a beard. He looks like a model. No, there's all these women that are like, oh, my God, is that what our kicker looks like? It's like nobody knew he was that attractive.
He's a pretty boy.
It was funny because it was like, is that what Butker looks like without a helmet on? Holy crap! But yeah, he's a good looking man.
And then that kind of moves us on to what everybody wants to talk about today, dude. So I got on Twitter I was not on Twitter for 20 minutes this morning, and went, that's enough of internet for today.
Yes,
dude. There's
people blowing up.
Okay,
everywhere.
So we live close to Kansas City. So everybody here and around us are Chiefs fans, at least from my knowledge.
Some of them die hard, Robin Hood.
Hardcore fans super upset about the pass or the roughing the passer call last night.
As was I.
And I didn't think it was right either. And I'm the Raiders fan here.
Yep.
And I didn't think it was right. But if you do a little, just the tiniest bit of research on what roughing the passer and how it is worded,
Yep.
that ref did exactly what he was supposed to do.
That's right.
And it is a good call for a bullshit rule.
Yep.
Nobody should be telling anybody that man needs to die.
Did you see some of that?
Yes.
I'm sure people get crazy.
People saying physical harm to him, kill his whole family.
Carl Shevers,
it's like
that guy's been in the league a long time too. He's definitely not one of the poor officials that are out there. There's many more names I could name that are much less quality than Shevers. But like you know, the arguments that I was getting into last night, you know, I'm backing the referees because I ref for 20 years, and this is a situation where it's a league problem, it's a rule problem. It's not the referee's problem. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and if you're not going to allow a referee to have some vagueness and change that call and have some judgment on that, and if he's got to call it by the rule, then that's what you're going to get. And you know,
and the referees don't make the rules.
No, the teams
and owners
and league make the rules. The refs just read them and follow them. That's it. The refs do not make the rules. But I like what Chris Jones said last night after the game. You know, he was no longer mad. I think he was still in shock because, hell, he made a great play.
Absolutely.
Right? Came out with the ball. That would have been Chiefs ball in the 30. That was huge. Game-changing type play.
Yeah.
And then it ends up in a 15-year penalty. So I get the anger. But like he said, if people were going to look at this in slow motion and replay and give the refs a chance to go back and look at that and say, okay, his arm was braced. He didn't try to squash the quarterback with his body weight, and he also did have the ball out, then it's like we're going to wave this flag off and make the call correct. Because at the end of the day, the referees want to get it right.
Yes.
That's the only goal. But they're only limited on what they can do by the rule book.
Right. But here's the one thing, and I'll say it 1,000 times. If we have to review every penalty, one, you're going to add an extra hour to every game, and maybe 2 hours for some games. When you got the Raiders playing, it might be a 4-hour game. I don't know. But when you start reviewing every single penalty, or have to review, or New York has to review it, whoever, you're slowing down the game. You're taking away what a team will want to do, offense or defense.
Take rhythm away too.
You're changing the game for something that is so minute, because by this time next week we aren't even going to be talking about this anymore.
Yeah.
But people are so in a uproar because the one that was called on Tom Brady this week, I don't know how that one was roughing the passer. They grabbed him, spun around, he fell down, guy got up.
You're not supposed to forcefully sling the quarterback down or wherever, whatever. There's a rule on that too. It's written.
I know.
And the same thing happened in Mahomes last night, and they didn't call it. And it was almost identical to what Brady got called. But I would never want that called. But that's just me.
Yeah.
But these are rules, right?
I can't look at the rules and take them for face value anymore.
I know.
Because it's so we live, and the phrase that went out all last night between our group, they know what they sign up for.
Yeah, right.
But there's a point, yes, they signed up to play contact sport. They did not sign up to ruin their career and be paralyzed from the waist down.
And the players also don't make the rules.
They don't.
You know, I'd be willing to bet that well, like you said, like Derek Carr and Chris Jones are buddies, and
yes,
and Carr was like, I don't know why they called that. You know, like he knew.
Even Derek Carr said that was a stupid call. So guys, the players know that they're stupid rules, but guess what?
They're gonna use them.
It's their rules. And one thing that really ticked me off last night is that Derek Carr did not get up looking for a flag.
No, he laid there for a while.
He laid there because he was like, anybody else coming, please don't kill me.
Right, I don't have the ball anymore.
It's like, I don't have it. Go get the big guy. He didn't get up looking for a flag. That flag was already thrown before he even thought about getting up.
Right. And the referee that threw that flag threw it from Chris Jones's backside. So he saw Chris Jones go and do what that rule says, and that is pancake on top of that quarterback.
Yeah.
He did not know he was braced up with an arm and an elbow, and he did not know he had the ball out.
No, he did not.
So that's where a discussion could have changed that. Maybe they waved the flag off.
I swear.
But they must have all agreed enough that they were going to let the flag stand.
I swear, when they got together, the three of them or four of them that were talking,
they knew they had a big call to make.
And I was like, okay, this is getting waved off. Chiefs ball right there, where they tackled.
Honestly, that's what I thought was going to happen.
And I was like,
too.
okay. And I was like, this is the point where I'm going to go outside and smoke.
Because I'm pissed.
And at some point, I know the Raiders are going to
you were waiting for the Chiefs to start their comeback, that was the start of it.
And I got my cigarettes. I stood up. I took my phone. I'm standing at my back door waiting for it to go to commercial, and they go, 15-yard penalty. I was like, what?
And then it's boom.
That's when everything got loud.
It got crazy.
And that's when the Chiefs started making their comeback.
Yeah.
And so regardless,
well, like
that play, whichever way it would have went, changed the Chiefs for the better.
It did.
It pissed them off.
It did.
They were in scoring position regardless.
Yep.
So
it did change.
Really, the Chiefs fans should be thanking that referee.
I saw too many other mistakes too.
I saw a lot.
Now if the game would have continued at that point, and the Chiefs would have lost, like if it would have not changed the way it did in the second half.
Oh, there'd be lynch mobs.
Then you could say that game changed or caused a loss to happen. But that's not how sports works. You can't go to a play in a second quarter and be like, oh, if we'd have got those 3 points, we'd have won at the end, because you don't know how the game would have been played in between those two things. I hate it when people say that. It's like, oh, well, we missed a field goal in the second quarter, and we lost by 3, so it would have been tied. It's like, that's not how it would have worked.
Well, I mean,
if it was tied, the other team would have gone for 3 instead of a touchdown at one point.
I mean, if their kicker hadn't missed all those field goals, it would have been.
No doubt.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
The NFL's got a consistency problem and a visual problem.
Yes.
So they've got all these concussions. Right, they're trying to correct that as best they can.
This is the highest.
They know what they sign up for. No, if you're gonna roll that way, you're not gonna have any NFL players because they're not gonna play it, or no one's gonna want to play it as a kid.
This is the highest year that I've heard about concussions.
Yeah.
So it's not getting better.
It's not.
And there's just so much going on with the whole entire league right now, and it's just not rules. Players are trying to control the entire league, and which, to be fair, they should have a lot of say in how this game is played.
Well, the NFL Players Association has a boatload of say in everything.
Yes.
Just so you know.
And
they're involved in that concussion discussion all the way.
Oh yeah, they have to be. And if I was a player and I wasn't involved, I'd be like, deuces. I'm gone.
It's a very powerful union with a lot of money behind it. So don't think the players are getting jobbed here. They get say in all this.
Yeah, they just don't get to pick the rules per se.
No, they don't get to do the rules.
No,
They've
how ugly that got last night.
The officiating needs to be more consistent across the board, and they have to do that with rule book wording and changes.
Yeah.
And then they have to determine what is the danger. What are we calling? What are we not calling? You know, you do not want your quarterbacks injured. I get that. That's just a marketing thing. That is your product.
Oh, absolutely.
And if Mahomes isn't on that field and you got to play a whole year with a third string quarterback, come on.
Chad Henne?
Yeah, well, whatever. Chad Henne has some fans.
He does have some fans.
That's a bad example, but pick a terrible quarterback and say he's the starter for the Bills now. And then tell me that everyone's going to be
Skylar
like,
Thompson.
Okay, that sounds good. I still love my team.
PJ Walker.
Like, no, because the Bills won't score anymore. Like it's you know, you got to protect your stars, and that's just how it works.
You got to protect where the money comes in from.
And it's a money game, and that's just the way it is. But they've got to be consistent. It's got to be consistent across the board so everybody knows. And I think they honestly need to put out commercials, videos, give it to the public, and help teach them. Be like, this is illegal.
Because
this is not.
Because casual fans don't care.
Well, I know, but they love to bitch about it and act like the world's burning down.
Yeah, I know, but the casual fans don't care what the rule says. The casual fans like, this is my team. It should only go this way.
It should work out for me.
Everything. They should never get a penalty. And I understand that.
I mean, we all do that.
I do that with the Raiders on a weekly basis.
Hey, I was, you know, I'm a Chiefs fan. I want them to win. I was super pissed when they came out of that huddle and said that was a penalty.
Oh, trust me,
but I didn't know the rule and I didn't look up the rule. But when they enforced that, and took the ball away, and if 15, I was like, that's horseshit. Because it sucks.
Oh, and by the way,
because my question is,
him losing the ball makes no difference on that penalty.
Yep.
Just so you know, just so anyone if you find this video or pop it into the stream, him losing the ball had zero effect on that flag. It still would have been thrown.
Because here's why. Mahomes with the ball in his hand is also Mahomes without the ball in his hand, and that's who they're protecting. Or whatever quarterback. I just use him as an example. Because if Mahomes fumbles it and you still drop kick him and he gets hurt, it doesn't matter that he didn't have the football.
I can see Chris Jones coming in.
Well, Chris Jones probably could drop kick somebody. Chris Jones is a big boy. God dang it, what was I going to say? That was pretty funny. Oh, I was going to say what? So the player that tossed Tom Brady, the player that tossed Mahomes last night, and Chris Jones landing on Carr in that situation. My biggest question to the league or to the rule makers is, what is Chris Jones supposed to do? Because how is he supposed to alter that situation? And if I'm running and you duck out and I grab you around the waist and my momentum's taking me this way and I swing you around.
Guess what? I'm going that way too.
It's physics. Yeah. Like, what are these guys supposed to do?
Well, you know, I sent you the funny meme last night, but it was like, you know, you grab them, you lay them down, you put their pillow out,
give them a little blanket,
get them a blanket, read them a book, and you know, we're good. No. I don't have an answer for that one.
I know, it's hard.
And that's one, you know, if I thought about it for a week or two, I could probably figure out something. But
as soon as you go in skeptical or not hard, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're not going to make that sack. You're not going to make that tackle or whatever you might be talking about.
Yeah,
rule.
We see a bunch of times when just go for the ball then. Cool.
Then you miss.
Because
they're gone.
If he does this, just one little you're that way, he's this way.
You're never taught to go for the ball either. You play football, you can't go for the ball. You can go for the hack or the chop while you're making a tackle, but if you go for the ball, you're going to lose that battle a lot.
Yeah.
You might cause a couple fumbles, but you're going to lose a lot of those battles. And that's like you see on screenplays when there's a guy and it's one-on-one, it's almost impossible to tackle him. They almost always get by that first guy.
I think I always look at those passes. I'm like, I have no clue how these work.
Mm-hmm.
No clue why this is successful. And, they
one-on-one in space. That's what it creates.
It just blows my mind.
The offensive player always has an advantage because he knows where he's going.
Yeah.
The defender's guessing and reacting to where he's going.
Right.
So he always has a little bit of an advantage. And those guys miss those tackles so much. But yeah, it was the NFL's got some stuff to deal with. So what is this? Was this week 5?
That was week 5.
And we've now gone through one crazy week of concussions and the Tua rules and all that stuff. And now we've got a weekend of crazy roughing the quarterback stuff. In multiple games. Not just the Chiefs and Raiders.
When it all comes back, when they have their league meeting about rule changes and all that, this all happens next year. Before, months before the season begins. When they have that meeting, all the owners get together, everybody, none of this is going to be talked about.
No.
None of it. Because it's so insignificant on the whole of the game. If someone is bringing up this week specifically, it's just because they are bitter,
or it's fresh on your
or
brain.
it's still fresh, and it's not going to be fresh in 15 more weeks of football.
I will say this before we leave. I've never seen Andy Reid that mad in my life.
No.
I was like, Big Red, dude, you about to have a heart attack, bro. You need to relax.
I was waiting.
That dude was not happy. And he was like halfway out on the field. Like he was ready to rumble. Like he was like, no, we are not starting this game until somebody comes and talks to me. What in the hell just happened?
And apparently they told him what he wanted to hear. Well, not what he wanted to hear, but what he needed to hear.
Well, it's like, it's not, we're not changing it. Sorry.
Just go sit down.
But that was just funny because in all the years I've watched him coach, like that guy hardly even says anything to an official.
Right.
And he was like,
he was fired
hell
up
no.
last night.
Never seen him move that fast either. He was walking from ref to ref, coming out on the field, throwing his notebook. Like I was like, what in the world's Andy Reid doing?
Yeah. I like that Andy Reid.
That was funny to see because he's such a calm guy.
It is great.
And Mahomes said, I've seen him mad like that a couple times, but not in public.
All right, let's get to the Thursday pick.
Yes, Thursday pick. It is another crap hole game.
Should we talk about what Amazon's getting for games?
They aren't getting the good ones, I'll tell you that.
It is rough stuff.
Yeah, I haven't even made my pick yet. I just wrote these down. So it's Washington at Chicago, and this is the Bears. The Bears are favored by 1 at home.
So they're not really favored at all.
Not really. I mean, would you pick a favorite in this game?
Well, we talked about this, and, I think with Chicago and them not really letting Fields throw the ball, they did this last week, but, I don't know if they're sold on that or not sold on that, and Washington is going to score. I don't. Maybe Chicago's run will do it.
Yeah, they got their David Montgomery back.
Yeah.
Although I like Khalil Herbert better, but that's all right.
I don't know if their run offense is going to be fantastic.
This is hard for me because, and I'm just thinking out loud here because I did not pre-pick this before I came here. Washington's they can throw the ball, man. They like to get after it. They'll throw it. And the Bears aren't sexy.
Are they starting Carson Wentz?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
See, that's a.
But Chicago's only strength on defense is their pass D.
Yeah.
So, and just with it
being a home game in Chicago, it's hard for me to pick the Bears, but I'm going to pick the Bears by like 3, I think.
You're going to pick the Bears by 3?
I just wrote that down, but that doesn't feel good to me because I think the Bears are terrible, but Washington's also not good.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
I'm gonna go the other side with that.
Good.
I think I will take Washington, and
By 17?
I'll take Washington by 3, because I didn't look this up or anything. Well, this is a strange morning and a late night, so.
Monday Night Football in Kansas City got us.
Yeah. No, I just think if Wentz starts, it's going to be a lot of throwing.
Yeah.
And he's got his guys that he's forced.
It's going to be a lot of throwing no matter who the quarterback is, because they don't run the ball.
Yeah. So if Taylor Heineke is the option next week, then I'm definitely going with Washington. But who knows? That we might end up saying we changed it on Saturday.
Yeah.
But who knows? Big thing also, I haven't mentioned our sponsor.
I had my W of the week earlier, but I didn't say it like you do.
Yeah, I messed up. Hey, I want to thank everybody for watching, starting off, but our sponsorship for tonight and always is W Energy, W.GG. You get 10% off by using the promo code 2AverageGuys. That's us. Thank you, W, for doing sponsorships and giving us a chance. I very much appreciate it.
We are trying to plan some fun stuff coming up in the future. So, Robin Hood, you did miss a little bit.
You missed all the good stuff.
If you were gone from football to now, you missed quite a bit.
No, we've got Saturday's still gonna happen this week, and then next week we'll do the Tuesday show, and we'll do the Saturday show, but there might. Possibly we're trying to work out things. Might be a Sunday show also, because where we usually are going to be watching football, we can't go and watch football. So.
And our Sunday show would be us just basically
we will be watching
having
the
fun,
game,
live commentating, talking discussions, and yeah, your brother's got a.
Your brother's out of town.
Something
or
going
something.
on.
Yeah.
Forgot what he said it was.
Not this week.
Next
but
weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
Is yeah.
So we might set up.
So
outside.
This whole thing might change. We might have an outside stream where I take my computer and move it to a point where it'll be better or easier.
And we'll just kind of be like Peyton and Eli.
Yeah.
And
maybe have some special guests over. Robin Hood, looking at you.
Maybe have some special guests, some kid picks, some whatever we might do. We're trying to get creative. We might do a draft or a ranking of something. We'll have some.
That'll be a much longer show. We're gonna look at like 8-hour show.
We're just gonna watch games.
Of just watching games and putting everything to it. Yeah, like come to a noon game or whatever.
We'll definitely start at noon if we start.
Yeah, we're not.
I'm not gonna.
I don't think there's an overseas game.
Nope.
So
those are over with.
I'm not starting at 8 a.m. I don't look good at 8 a.m. It's hard for me to start at 9:30 a.m.
You don't look good at 8 p.m. either.
Well, you're sleeping at that point. That's why I don't look good. No, but this week we're sticking to our regular schedule. But next week, I hope we can get some excitement and get a long day of a nice show. And you can see our live reactions of just wanting to punch everything.
Yeah, you might hear some language on that.
Oh, man. Okay.
That one might not be very kid-friendly whatsoever.
Now I want to look really quick before we get out of here. I want to look at the Raiders for next week, or for 2 weeks from now.
Oh, yeah, Raiders are on bye next week.
Yeah, they're on a bye this week, so I'd never have to see that. There it is. They play Houston.
Oh.
In Las Vegas.
At least they won't lose on their bye
All right,
week.
you might not hear
Robin Hood.
Yeah. I mean, you probably won't hear as much as you probably should. You should. It is absolutely an experience when the Raiders are just making mistake after a mistake, and you watch me. It is an experience like almost no other.
It's like he's yelling at his kid.
No, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Hey, but I wanted to say thank you to everybody. Thank you so much for all the follows, subs, tips, bits, everything. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Debbie, again for sponsoring our show. Still don't have a name for the show. Pretty much two average guys at this point.
I like the sound of it.
But we will be back on Saturday with full picks, full breakdowns of games, and give you guys some betting lines that maybe you'll be good at. And I'll come back with Panic, Don't Panic, because there's a couple teams that I want to talk about. And I'm sure that he will probably...
I might have one for you on Saturday,
Perfect.
too. Yeah.
So look forward to all that. Guys, thank you so much again. I love your faces, and I will see you guys Saturday.
Deuces. Bye, Robin Hood.
25, that is Zach Ertz.
And C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming down on that one. Perfect placement.
From the 31, pushing across the 35 is Hollywood Brown. Some Eagle fans creating noise for the home team, home field Arizona Cardinal offense. Pass is complete. Need to run with it for a first down, and he does. James Conner